Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, and welcome to the Question Reality radio show. I'm Priscilla Leona, producer and host of this show, and we are coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. Now, for 14 years, we have been providing our audience with entertainment industry career advice. And this show is for you if you are questioning your career reality about pursuing a career in show business, or if you're already working in the entertainment industry and you just need some tips, advice, or resource information on how to elevate your career status. Now, if you want to know who are the guests that have been on the show, well, some of our guests include Emmy winners, Grammy Award winners, we have Tony Award winners, we have reality TV stars, just a wide variety of working show business professionals, and they work in film and television and music and radio as producers and directors, and we have casting directors, and we have literary agents, casting agents, we have PR agents, talent managers, screenwriters, publicists, actors, comedians, singers, novelists, script supervisors, stunt people. You know, I love me a good stunt man. You know, that's my weakness. Can't get enough of them. They were like, oh, no, Priscilla's looking for me, and they hide. I can't find them. They're in disguise. We have celebrity makeup artists, and once in a while we throw in an entertainment attorney, because what I always say is if you are at the point where you need an entertainment attorney, by God, you have arrived. So, yes, you're going to have to sell and refinance houses to pay for them, but you need them. If not, if you're starting out, I think there's like a website, what is it called? LegalZoom or something like that. I'm not promoting that because, you know, I don't do advertisements on the show, but I have heard from my actor friends that it has helped them in a pinch when they were about to get the big contract. If you missed any of our shows, here are 3 ways that you can listen to them. Now, as you know, we've been on the air since 2008, so there are lots of careers that have been covered on the show. So go to the App Store or the Google Play Store. We have a free mobile app. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio. We're on iTunes. We're on Amazon Podcasts, Google, Audible.com, Stitcher.com. You know, just Google me, Priscilla Leona or Question Reality Radio Show, and I am there at the top of the pack. So that's it. Oh, that brings me to my tip of the week about branding. Now, you know how I feel about when you're getting started in the business, you got to focus on your branding. So I see so many actors and singers and people in the entertainment industry when they're first starting out, they make the mistake of wanting to have a cute name. You know, Debbie plays the tin whistle, or Debbie does this, or I do that, or my name is, let me just tell you, keep it simple, because you are branding yourself. You are a business. You are an entrepreneur. You're the sales department, the marketing department, the accounting department. You are everything. And when people go to Google you and they don't know, I always suggest your name. I just go for the safe route, your name. But if you want to do something cute, or if you have a product, you know, keep it at one title, one word for any products. Think about it. The greatest movies in history. How many words? Casablanca, you know, I better not say Waterworld. Casablanca. We can name, think about all the greatest movies. 1 word or 2 words, right? Titanic, yes. So try to keep it at that if it's a product. If you want to go by name, first, middle name's good, first, last name. But I just really highly recommend it, because if you're at a party and you're networking and you meet somebody, and what do? Business cards are just not happening anymore. Everybody's on social media. So they'll Google you, and that's how they find you. So please, 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 branding, keep it professional if you can. Lastly, archive page. You can listen to all of our shows directly from the website that you're listening to us on right now, which is latalkradio.com. So just go there, look for my show title, which is Question Reality, or my name under the host tab. And lastly, we ask that you do a little itsy bitsy teeny weeny polka dot bikini favor, and that is to subscribe. That is how the world works now. We all need a little thumb. We need a little follower. It's so sad, but that's the way it is. So we need you to subscribe to our podcast via the Apple Podcasts, and to give us a little like and a follow if you enjoy the show. We're on, of course, all the social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and recently I have added us to the TikTok world. Oh my God, people. I didn't think I would love TikTok. I thought it was for the young hipsters, right? I went on TikTok to watch one thing, because I'm obsessed with Harry Styles. I was on that damn site for 8 hours the first time. I'm not anymore, but the first time I couldn't stand it. And now all the major celebrities, they all have official sites, and so many people are getting discovered. So I'm going to put that out to you if you want to get to. It used to be YouTube, right? Now TikTok. So check it out. Finally, if you want to be booked on our show to promote and showcase your talents, current or upcoming projects, or your products, and also help listeners by providing much appreciated entertainment industry career advice, go to our official website. Now, listen, everybody has like a 5-second attention span now. So I need your 5 seconds. Go to questionrealityradioshow.com, not the website that you're listening to us on now, which is obviously latalkradio.com. This is the website where we air the show. So our official website is questionrealityradioshow.com, and you can see all the wonderful interviews like with CC Peniston or Paul Guilfoyle, I can never pronounce Paul's name, Guilfoyle from CSI Las Vegas. Great guy. We just had Mark S. Berry on the show, 36 gold Grammy, gold and platinum and Grammy awards. It's a combo. He worked with the Beatles. He worked with, I don't know if I can say that. I better not say that. Anyway, he's working on a big project right now, but you can listen to all of those interviews right from the website. So there you go. You got all the information, but now we are on to the most exciting part of the show. Woo-hoo-hoo. Now, this guy that's on the show today, you just say his name, and there are waves of excitement that go across the land. It's just ebbs and tides and peaks. Kevin Sorbo, he's a celebrity actor, producer, director, and author. Who doesn't know who this man is? Kevin is probably most known, though, for his beloved roles as Hercules and Captain Dylan Hunt on the hit network television shows Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, and Andromeda, Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda. And we're going to be talking to him today about his time on those shows, his latest films, and his new book. But first, remember I said we want to give him a little follow. If you go to Linktree, it's under K Sorbs, KSORBS. So Linktree K Sorbs. And he has a fan site, sorbostudios.com. Sorbostudios.com. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Kevin Sorbo.
I don't think I can match your energy, but I'll try to do my best.
And just think, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. It's all me. And there's no, I don't.
Thank God.
I know. But very excited to be on the show. My husband and I are such huge fans of your Hercules and your Andromeda shows for sure. But my husband, oh my God, he's obsessed with your Twitter site. Like every morning after we have our coffee, that's it. He's going on your Twitter site, laughing his ass off. I don't know what you post over there, but he is always laughing about that. He loves it. He just admires you so much and your messages. So I am just too excited to start talking about your career. And as I said earlier, we could talk about it for hours. We only have 50 minutes. So first, I want to start out by asking, how is the family? How's your wife, Sam?
She's fantastic, staying very busy in her world of, we're people that are homeschoolers. She does a lot of homeschool speaking across the country. She's got a number of books out in the subject. So, if people go to sorbostudios.com, they'll find all kinds of information on both of us. We put those websites together. So a lot of information for people to go see.
I know. I'm going to talk about that later. Now, not many people know that she was also on Hercules with you as Serena. I think she had two roles. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she was Serena and the Golden Hind.
She was.
Is that right?
She was.
Two people, right? She did two.
She did. Well, she did a three-show arc as that character. They're one and the same character, but they were sort of combined. But then she did another episode where she was not a very good person. So she's I think she did about 4 or 5 episodes of Hercules.
Oh my God, what a!
She was on Andromeda too, by the way. She also did an Andromeda episode.
Oh, she did. Oh my God, I missed that one. I got to go back now and watch that one. Now, how are the kids? You've got 3 kids, Braden, Shane, and Octavia. They're probably grown and in college by now, right?
No college for our family. We're going to be successful without it, just like my wife and I both were. My oldest son has actually got the lead in a movie right now. He's filming in Orlando, Florida, and he'll be there for the next couple of weeks. He's very excited. He's been in a couple movies already, but this is the first time he's got the full lead, and he'll be working every single day. I said, well, welcome to my world. You're going to get a good workout.
No 9 to 5, I hope he knows. He'll be on their way. Is Braden your oldest, or is it Shane?
Braden's my oldest. He's 20, and Shane is 18 years old, and my daughter is 16. And Shane just finished the movie as well. They're both kind of following my footsteps, but I wasn't surprised. They grew up on movie sets. Since Hercules and Andromeda, I've shot over 70 movies. So I'm on the road quite a bit. So the kids traveled and got to be on the set every day. So they sort of got used to it.
Yeah. And what about Octavia? Is she interested?
She's my artist. She loves to draw. She's really good, actually. Not to be the proud dad, but she's very, very talented and works very hard at it.
Well, at least you got the 2 boys that you can talk shop with for a little while. Now, I got to tell you, Kev, you are my very first guest from, are you ready for this, people? Mound, Minnesota. I mean, that just rolls off the tongue, right? Mound, Minnesota. I love that title. Now, Kevin, that sounds like a place that you would definitely want to live or retire. It sounds like a great piece of Americana life. How was it growing up in Mound?
Well, it was great. I mean, my best friends to this day are guys that I've known since kindergarten, and we played football, basketball, baseball together all the way through high school, and try to get back every summer. I love going back there. Mound, Minnesota is on the western end of Lake Minnetonka. Lake Minnetonka is one of the top 10 best boating and fishing lakes in the country, and it's a phenomenal place. And my little town of Mound, on the shores of Lake Minnetonka, was home to Tonka Toys. So there's a good trivia thing for you right there.
Oh, yeah. That is good. Well, I know that a lot of people, now we have some stuff in common, Kevin, because I know a lot of people who come or land in Minnesota, they are of Norwegian descent. So I had discovered through Ancestry.com that I am of Viking stock too, just like you. And I'm like, yeah! Yes, we come from the same kinfolk. Well, my mother, Kevin, we used to watch your show, right? And here's what she would say every week. She'd say, now that's what I call a gorgeous Viking man. And then she'd go, oh, hell, Hercules, good. Or she would say, every time he came on the screen, she'd say, good Thor Almighty. She's so crazy. A woman, you never know what's coming out of her mouth. But yeah, so you're to her what Harry Styles is to me. Oh my God, she loves you so much. So I know she's listening. So yes, I told that story. What do you have to say?
Wow, that's pretty cool. I got to tell you, my little town of Mound, there's only about 7,000 people in that town. We're about 30 miles west of Minneapolis, but we had some very famous people come out of there before me. They were called the Andrews Sisters, and you may have heard of the Andrews Sisters.
I know the Andrews Sisters. Yeah, the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. Is that right, or is that?
Very good. You're right.
Is that right? Oh God, I was taking a risk on that one because my grandmother used to listen to the Andrews Sisters, so that's the only song I remember. Yeah. Who else?
I think that's about it. It's a pretty small town. So.
All right, well, that's good. That's good right there. So now I got to ask you, did I read right when I read that you were on Hawaii Five-0? Is that true?
I did a guest spot on one. Yeah. You know what's funny is because before that became a series, I actually was with my manager. We were shopping that around for me to play the Jack Lord characters in the 1970s, 60s, and 70s show. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they did the typical thing in Hollywood. They took an Australian actor to play an American. So.
Oh my! Is Jack Lord Australian?
No, but the guy playing the new series now is. Yeah.
I don't watch the new one. I can't. I'm loyal to Jack. Jack was everything.
But I wasn't on the Jack Lord series. I was a little too young to be on it back then.
That's what I was wondering. Were you like a kid and you had some sort of a role on there?
No. I guest started on the newer one.
Oh my gosh, because I was like, oh God, I got to go back and watch it. But Jack Lord, oh my gosh, do we not wish that everyone, the opening main title sequence where the helicopter zooms in and Jack Lord turns with that 007 look, don't we all need that as our opening title sequence?
That was an awesome show. That was my dad's favorite, so I grew up as a little kid. I remember watching it.
Oh my God, he would have been the perfect James Bond. I don't know what. Well, it has to be British, but okay. So briefly, you spent 3 years, I believe it was 3 years, traveling around the world. You were doing modeling for print ads. You appeared in over 150 commercials before you landed your breakout series, Hercules: The Legendary Journey. So, if you can remember. Let's go back to that audition. How did you get here? So you're an actor, so you'll remember every question I ask you. I test my actors to see how good their memory is. Okay. So one, I want to know, how did you get the audition? If you can remember again, what was the audition out of the ordinary, or was it just a regular old audition? Were you up for the role with any other actors that we would know now? And lastly, what is one of your most memorable times working on the show? Maybe a funny story. And go.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff. Okay. Well, my career was starting to go pretty well at that point. I'd done a couple of pilots that didn't get picked up, but I had, good leading roles in them. One was sort of like in the vein of Dallas, but it was more of a comedy soap opera, nighttime soap opera. And then I did another one. I got the lead in it. They went back and forth with ABC if they're going to pick it up or not. They ultimately didn't pick it up. So I got the call from my manager to read for the role of Hercules. It was going to be 5 2-hour movies down in New Zealand. That's all it was going to be, 5 2-hour movies, but it's going to take up the whole year to film. And initially I thought, well, I'm a big guy. And I was 6'3". I was 230 pounds. I was in really good shape. And I was working out, and I said, they're going to want really big guys. And I said, no, they want a guy that's more like an NFL quarterback size guy or maybe decathlon guy. And I said, okay. So I went to the audition, and for the most part, there were guys that were like in my build. There were a couple skinnier dudes, but there were a couple big, definitely steroid guys too. But I got six callbacks after that original one. 6 callbacks over about a 2.5 month period.
Oh.
And it got down to the last 3 guys. They auditioned. I found out they auditioned over 2,800 actors in North America for the role.
Wow.
And so the last one I did, it was myself against 2 guys. We had to sign the standard 5.5-year contract they always have actors sign for TV shows just in case the shows go. And it was in Universal Studios, and it was the big black building right off the 101 there. And Sam Raimi was our executive producer, who just recently did the last Doctor Strange movie that was up in theaters. And, I got up there and I said, look, there was about 50 people in the room, 50 of these, men and women, these high-powered TV people from Universal. And I'm on the stage, and I said, you guys never give me direction. Is there something you want me to change? And they said, no, we like what you're doing. Just read it again. So I read the role. And then Sam looked at me, and he hit the woman next to him very gently, gave her a little nudge. And he said, oh, I'm supposed to ask you to take your shirt off. Well, they want to see if you're in shape. So if you watch the series, I was in pretty good shape back then.
Yeah.
I took my shirt off, and there was some really nice responses in the crowd.
Gasping and fainting,
And I said, yeah, I'm bigger with my clothes off, and I got a big laugh. And then Sam Raimi asked me, he said, look, if you get the role, Kevin, would you be willing to shave your chest and stomach? Now, I'm not Robin Williams hairy. I've got a nice little man cover there, but I said, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you wanted a man for this role, and I started to walk off the stage. And I got a big laugh again. And they said, look, we'll let you know in the next week or so. We're making a decision. I said, okay. So the next day I flew to Vancouver to guest star in the Commish TV series, Michael Chiklis' series at the time. And at the third day I got a call from my manager, and she said, you got the role, and you're going to be Hercules. So I walked back on the set, and I looked at Chiklis. I said, I don't want any crap from you. I am half God now. So I trained hard for another 2 months before I left down there, and I trained with a guy named Douglas Wong, who was one of Bruce Lee's original students, practicing all these moves, and he developed a thing called White Lotus Kung Fu and all these weapons. It was great, and I went down there, and I got to act opposite Anthony Quinn playing Zeus. I mean, how cool is that, to work with an Academy Award, 2-time Academy Award winner, Anthony Quinn. For the young people out there, they better look him up on IMDb. He was one of the greatest actors back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So we shot for a year down there. By the middle of the third movie, I got a call from Universal, and they said, we're going to keep the show going. We love it. And it became a series right away. And by season 3, we became the most watched TV show in the world, which is pretty cool.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we were in 176 countries. It's still in 60 countries to this day. I mean, my gosh, we finished filming back in 2000, so it's pretty crazy.
Are they running? I don't, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought back then you had to be on either 100 episodes or 5 years, and then you would get repeats. Or is the show on as a repeat anywhere that we can see it?
Yeah, it hasn't left TV for the last almost 30 years.
Okay.
So
perfect.
It finished 22 years ago, but it's still in 60 countries running, and I still, every 6 months, I still get the favorite thing that actors like residual.
Your royalty check, thank goodness, right?
Oh yeah.
Well,
and I still do a lot of autograph shows and things like that. It was just an honor to be down there. New Zealand became my second home. It's just a beautiful country. The people are great, and I highly tell people, I recommend it all the time to go down there.
Now you, for everybody knows Comic-Con, and you're probably part of that too, being on Andromeda. I'm not sure. We'll ask you, but isn't it Dragon Fest or Dragon Ball?
There's a Dragon Con in Atlanta.
Dragon Con. Are you a part of that? Is that still going? Are you still?
I think they've been going for 30 some years. I've done about 7 or 8 of them. It's awesome. It's definitely in the top 3 or 4 Comic-Cons in North America.
Oh yeah. Oh, so look, you can see Kevin. You got to look it up. Look up the Dragon Con. So almost immediately after Hercules, you get cast for another show that goes on to be a huge hit, Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda. So again, kind of the same thing? How did you get the audition? Was there anything out of the ordinary, just a regular audition? And how was that experience?
There was no audition because Hercules was such a big hit. I mean,
Yeah.
when I left the series, we were still the number one show in the world, and I left because at the halfway through season 7, I got a call from Majel Roddenberry, Gene Roddenberry's widow. And Gene Roddenberry is the one who created the Star Trek series. And she said, look, my husband wrote a show back in 1969 after Star Trek was canceled, and it's called Andromeda. And I think he would love you to be the first captain after Captain Kirk. And I said, stop. If you're offering me this role, I'm in. And they just offered me the role. So I played Captain Dylan Hunt, which was the first captain after Kirk. So there was no audition process needed. And we stepped in. We became the number one show in first-run syndication in America. It was in 150 countries overseas, and it ran for 5 years and would have gone through 7 seasons. But unfortunately, the company that owned us, the Tribune Company out of Chicago, went into bankruptcy, and they had to freeze all their assets, even though we were the one thing making money for them. So a little frustrating for myself, my crew, and other actors from our show, and because the fans out there got cheated out of 44 more episodes. But we did 110 episodes. But it was good. I really loved doing it because I'm a huge fan of the original series. And I've become good friends with Bill Shatner through the years because of that show.
Oh, yeah. My friend Stephen Levine is his PR guy. Yeah, Grapevine PR. Yeah, he loves him. He said he is such a fan. I think I've run across so many people that have worked with him, and they all have the best stories, and they're all funny stories. So I bet you the two of you just yuck it up when you're together, right? He seems like a great guy.
He is hilarious at his Comic-Cons. We go out to dinner, and he's just very, very entertaining. It's a good time.
Oh, well, just seeing him, it just makes you feel happy. I guess everyone knows that. So so you play Hercules, you play Captain Dylan Hunt, and when looking at your acting career, oh gosh, you played just about every character I can think of. But for you, is there still a dream role that you haven't played yet that's on your bucket list?
I'm getting too old to do it now. I would love to play. I love When Harry Met Sally. I would love to do a romantic comedy, something like that. Or You've Got Mail, or things like that. I just When Harry Met Sally is one of my favorite movies. You mentioned Casablanca earlier. What a fantastic, amazing movie. I do have 2 movies coming up that I'm filming. I've actually got. We can talk about them later. Talk about those, but I've got 3 movies done in the can coming out later this year and early next year, plus 2 documentaries that I produced and narrated. They'll be coming out later. But I'm off to Montana to shoot a zombie movie. I've never done a zombie movie.
That should be fun.
Yeah, and then from there I go to Mississippi to shoot a vampire movie. I play a 700-year-old vampire, and it's a really cool role. I'm looking forward to that as well.
Vampire movies are my favorite, followed by zombies and then werewolf. I got them all in order. Yes. Are you going to be a vampire, or are you going to be killing them? You're going to be killing them, aren't you?
No, I'm a vampire.
Oh, you're going to be a vampire? Oh my God, I'm so excited about this. So I noticed that you, I think from counting, I'm going by memory here, I know that you have a ton of films that are listed on your IMDb page that are in various phases of production. I know you just said like the 3 movies plus the 2 documentaries, but I think I counted 17 films. So my question is, how do you possibly work on all these projects in that time frame? Because I saw 2022, I don't think I saw 2023. I think I saw 2022. So you must have shot them prior, right? How do you do all of those projects in that time frame? That's crazy.
No, I didn't do all of it. So I've got ones I've got ones I've committed to, but they aren't funded yet. And these people get a little ahead of themselves, and they post it on IMDb, and they shouldn't post up there. There's probably, of all those listed that I'm on hold for, there's probably 3 that are real right now that they have the funds for it. But I do have, like I said, I've got 3 movies done in the can. 2 of them I directed. Those are completely done. They'll be out in theaters around December, January, February next year. One's called Miracle in East Texas. It's a true story set in 1930 about 2 con men played by myself and the lovely John Ratzenberger. People might know John as, the voice of many of the Pixar movies, but he was also Cliff, the postman on the successful series Cheers. And we have Lou Gossett Jr. is in that one as well, and Tyler Mane was in there. We got a great cast in that one. And then the other one is called Left Behind, based off the 80 million selling books of Left Behind, called Left Behind: Rise of the Antichrist, and it deals with the aftermath of the Second Coming. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty intense.
Ooh.
And then the other one is the Reagan movie that I shot with Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid plays the president. I played his pastor in it. And then I've got 2 documentaries. So, yeah, I'm staying busy.
I met Dennis Quaid. He was it was in Brentwood, I think, at a restaurant. He was with his wife. Speaking of Meg Ryan, he was with her.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was back 92 or 93, because I came here in 92. Like you, I came here not knowing a single soul, not one person. I came here all by myself. And
where do you live now?
I'm from the East Coast. I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles. But when I first moved here, I moved to Hermosa Beach. I thought Hermosa Beach was 5 minutes from the Hollywood side. So, there was no internet back then. I didn't know what the hell. I didn't know that places were just so separated and so far away. And because, I'm from the East Coast, and everything's so close, So I was very concerned about that. I had to get a car. You don't need a car in New York. You just walk everywhere or take them. So very much like you, I came out here the same way. Now, I have a kind of a philosophical question for you. If you got to live your life all over again, strictly speaking, career-wise, would you still have chosen to be an actor?
Yeah, I wanted to be an actor since I was 11 years old. The Guthrie Theater is a very famous theater in Minneapolis. A lot of Broadway people come out there. First, a lot of plays start there before they actually go to Broadway. And my school, my grade school, elementary school, we did a field trip to see The Merchant of Venice. And granted, it was Shakespeare, and I don't know what the hell they were saying because I was 11 years old. But I was completely mesmerized by it all. And I made up my mind right then and there, so I'm going to be an actor. So, I mean, if you said you have to pick something else, then I probably would have gone into teaching, because I would have loved to coach high school football and basketball, because that was my dear love with sports. So, but acting was pretty much what I wanted to do.
If you could give it, what advice would you? No, I guess, yeah. What advice would you have given yourself at the inception of your career in the entertainment industry as a whole? Like, if you had to give yourself one piece of advice, you could go back in time, what would you say to yourself?
Don't let anyone set limitations on you. That's what I would tell myself. Don't let anyone tell you can't do something. Because to me, it was fuel for the fire for people who said you'll never have success. Because it's easy to say that, because unfortunately most people won't have success. It's a brutal business. It really is. And you have to be able to go out there and pound the pavement. I had a double major in college on marketing and advertising, and double business major. So I look at it as I market and advertise myself, because as an actor, you are your own product, right?
Absolutely.
So you got to get out there and pound the pavement. And a good buddy of mine one of my many friends I've known since the kindergarten years, he said to me, Sorbs, remember, it's called show business, not show. And I always remember that, because it is a business. You got to treat it as such. And
so glad you said that.
Oh yeah, and you got to get out there and bust your butt. You got to pound the pavement. I remember my agent one time saying, because I had the breakdown service. I would see parts coming up for commercials, coming up for TV, movies, whatever. I said, hey, get me in there. And he said to me one time, Kevin, I've got 100 other clients. I said, I don't care about your clients. Do you think they care about me?
Right.
I don't give a crap about them.
Right.
Right.
I
said, let me have the chance to be rejected, because that's what the business mostly is rejection. Said, let me be able to get through that door. And if they don't pick me, it's their loss. You have to have that attitude. You have to have that confidence about yourself. Otherwise, you're in for a long journey. Because most people I know when I first moved out there, most people I knew from acting classes and from auditions, they're not in the business anymore. They gave up. They left it. Because it's a tough business. It'll chew you up and it'll drain you. But you got to find a way to be strong about it. And for me, I mean, I've always been a gym rat, and I used to live in Santa Monica. I first moved out there, and I used to bike after working at a Gold Gym. I would bike a rollerblade down to Hermosa Beach and back again. So I did all that stuff, So I worked out my frustrations by trying to keep myself just busy and moving, and I did a lot of commercials. I'll tell you. I mean, I remember having actors, "Oh, you shouldn't do commercials." And I go, you know what? Anytime you can be on a set for whatever reason, when you're on a camera, you're on a set with a director and a production team, it is good for you. You need to put those miles in. You need to put that in and get as many runs in as you can. It's like skiing. You want to get better at skiing, then you go up and down that hill constantly. And that's what you got to do as an actor.
That's right. Because you got it, just like you have to be your own healthcare advocate, you have to be your own business advocate. You can't be sitting there waiting for the damn phone to ring. What's wrong with you? Come on now. You got to create your own, pioneer your own path is what I tell them. But people, I'm telling you, Kevin, people are lazy today. I'm just going to tell you, they just want everybody to do everything for them. They just think if they're good looking, somebody's going to do it for me. But you know what? They don't know they're a dime a dozen in this town. You are here today and gone tomorrow. But try to tell young people, you know how they are. So I'm not going to go on that tangent, but okay. So am I right, Kevin, that you have a book called True Faith, Embracing Adversity to Living God's Light? Is that your latest book, or is that an older book?
That's the latest one that I co-wrote with my wife. The first one is called True Strength, My Journey from Hercules to Mere Mortal and How Nearly Dying Saved My Life. So that book came out first. This is a follow-up book called True Faith. People, once again, can go to sorbostudios.com and get a copy of it. I had a near-death experience on Hercules at the end of season 5. I had an aneurysm in my shoulder I didn't know about that was causing all kinds of pain. Well, it basically opened up, sent hundreds of clots in my arm, but sent 4 clots in my brain. I suffered 4 strokes. And it took me 3 years to fully recover from it. It took me 4 months to learn how to walk and balance again. Luckily, my speech came back relatively quick. I worked on that very hard. I still have a 10% loss of vision in both eyes. Why? Here I was 6'3", 230 pounds, about 7% body fat. I was ripped up. I was everything opposite what people get strokes with, So it was, they don't even know why the aneurysm formed, where it formed and why and how, but it happens. And it opened up a whole different world to me and a whole different door for me. And I didn't want to write the book. My wife badgered me to write it because, the male ego doesn't want to show you how weak you become or something. Right. But I did it, and it's been a gift because now I do probably around 15 speaking events a year now. And been doing that for the last 12 years. So it's been pretty cool.
I read that story, Kevin. I was shocked. I mean, especially you left out the part I want to get to, because I have had at least 3 friends. Now, you would never get my fat ass near a chiropractor. You are not. I don't care what you do, because I've always been scared of them. I dated one time. Needless to say, that's not the reason, but a couple of his patients had some problems. So from that, I'm like, oh, hell no. So what was fascinating about your story, which if you could just briefly go into it, this happened. I know that you had a lump. You were like blowing it off because you didn't want to deal with it. You were too busy. You went to the doctor. The doctor said, let me take a biopsy. And then you went to your chiropractor. Now, what was fascinating about this is you said you were laying on the table and you told this man many times, don't crack my neck. I don't care what other part of my body, but don't touch my neck. And apparently you had told him many times. And you said you were laying on the table and you heard clear as day some voice saying to tell him not to crack your neck. And then he cracked your neck. And then this is what happened. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's
exactly right. You know, I've been going to him for 8 years, and he's never cracked my neck, because the very first time I went to him 8 years prior, the first visit, I said, you can crack anything in my body, leave my neck alone. I've had my neck cracked before, and I've never liked it. Don't crack my neck. He knew it, and he's never, ever cracked it. That's the weird thing about this. And that aneurysm was way up in my left subclavicle, right next to the artery that feeds into the, you know, it's the blood flow coming out of the brain into the arm. So the voice said, don't let him crack your neck, over and over again, which was really weird. And I thought, why would this voice be saying this to me? Well, he cracked my neck, and then I suffered the strokes. And probably had a lawsuit there. I didn't do it, but it was weird. And I'm very fortunate to be alive, because actually four blood clots to the brain. I could be in a wheelchair the rest of my life, or be dead. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, when I read that, I mean, it was much more. I mean, it took you how many years? Like 3 years to recover from that. So the point of this story, people, is don't let anybody crack your neck. I mean, I don't know if you're saying that might have triggered it, but it's just not a good idea in general. Now, I'm not against chiropractors, but the neck, if something happens, you know, that's it. So you were so lucky to because it was a lot more detail, but it was like your instinct, your little Superman spideys. You were tingling, the Superman spider tingling you had, and you heard that. That's what I think is fascinating. You heard that as clear as day. And so listen to your instinct about things, people. Listen to, you know, you suffered strokes, you had aneurysm, your balance, I think, went off, your vision, which you say it still hasn't come back. So you're, and yet look at you, have so many projects, and you're soldiering on. You are such a brave man, and you are so blessed. And I just feel so honored to know someone that survived that, because you could have just given up and got depressed. A lot of people, I just unfortunately had a friend who committed suicide because he broke his back, and he was in so much pain, and he's an actor. He didn't have access to, you know, medication, and he left a note and said he couldn't take the pain anymore, and he was tired of depression. So you got through that, and you're very fortunate, because a lot of people don't survive getting through the physical pain, because it's mental and physical when something like this happens. So what advice would you give to someone who suffers, who's an actor, and they suffer some sort of medical problem and they don't have insurance? What words of inspiration can you give them?
Well, I think it's for any walk of life, let alone actors. I think that's, you know, we're all going to hit a roadblock in life. You hit more than one roadblock in your life. How do you react to that? You know, you want to blame God, or blame a God you don't believe in. You want to blame family, friends. You know, you got to look in the mirror. You got to look in the mirror and say, okay, what am I going to do? I mean, if I ever got down, I'm strong-willed. I mean, I think a lot of that came from my mom and dad, and what they taught me. And I think through the sports I played and everything, you know, just I think I'm not afraid to push my body past what it can possibly do. So when this happened to me, I would just say, okay, the doctor says do this for 10 minutes. I would do it for an hour, and it wiped me out even more. But I knew I had to push myself to get better. It's that old mentality of no pain, no gain. So I tell people all the time the same thing my wife always said to me. If I did get down, which I did, she said, Kevin, it happened. What are you going to do about it? So that's the reality, is what are you going to do about it? You got to look in the mirror. It's a Michael Jackson song, right? The Man in the Mirror. Mm-hmm. You got to look in the mirror and say, okay, I can whine and say, oh, woe is me, and the world did this to me, blah, 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 and complain, which most people do in our today's world, as you know. Yeah. Get off your tush and do something about it. You know, it's not my fault your life didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. Yeah. We all have dreams that don't come true. We know, but you're going to sit there and just give up and be angry? Because, you know, look at the world we live in now. You see all the anger, you see all the hate. You know, people canceling people for something they did 40 years ago. Apparently, there's people that are you know, these wokies that are running the cancel culture. They've led amazingly perfect lives. So maybe we should talk to them how to live as perfect of a life as they have. You know? So, you know, do something about your life. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. You know, I'm talking to you, but I'm saying, get up and just say, okay, what am I going to do to make myself stronger now to get past this and get past blaming everybody else for my problems? So people got to find a way, and hopefully they will, because otherwise they're going to go for a long, long, pathetic, sad life.
You brought something up. Speaking of all these projects that you've been working on nonstop, I feel that I can safely say that you're a very vocal and proud conservative and Christian. What's your opinion on what's been conveyed to me by other conservatives, that it's been really hard for them to get work in the entertainment industry? Actually, now conservatives are saying it's just about most industries they're having a hard time. So they're saying once it's known that they're a conservative, they're losing their jobs, they're not being considered, et cetera, et cetera. How have you been able to achieve a nonstop working situation in the entertainment industry? Because I saw during well, I won't mention what it was. I saw on a lot of social media platforms that people were actually saying, if I find out that you are a Republican or a conservative, I will blacklist you in this town. And they did it. And what do you have? How have you been able to stay working?
Well, for starters, those people are incredibly petty and unbelievably just it's weird to me. I don't harbor that kind of anger for somebody who has a different point of view, a different religious point of view, a different political point of view. But this is what Hollywood's been doing for decades, and they're just really accelerated over the last 10, 12 years. It's gotten absolutely insane. And why can't we have different points of view? This country was built on individuals. It wasn't built on bigger governments. Bigger governments have never worked. This country wasn't founded on that. This country was founded on individuals having freedom. And I find it so interesting now. We get a government that wants to tax us for everything. There were no taxes before the World War I. We didn't have taxes. But now there's hundreds of them. We tax everything over and over and over again. We fought a war against the Brits for taxation without representation, So here we are doing exactly what King George was doing to us back in the 1700s. So it's amazing to me how quickly people become reliant on Big Brother, on the government. And, Hollywood does lead the way. I try to do movies that are more positive. I don't want to do movies. I want movies that are filled with redemption and hope and love and laughter, things that are missing in most Hollywood movies. You look at the success of Tom Cruise's latest movie. It's huge. And the reason why it's such a big success is Top Gun Part 2 is because it was just a good movie. They weren't pushing certain agendas. They were just showing a good movie, and people got into it of both sides of political fences. They just got into it and loved it. And we need more movies like that. And those are the kind of movies that I'm doing. Hollywood booted me out about a dozen years ago. My manager and agent said, we can't work with you anymore. And I went, wow. You guys are the ones that scream for tolerance. You know that. Hollywood screams for tolerance all the time. But as we know, tolerance and freedom of speech are a one-way street with Hollywood, which is really sad to me. So I'll work with anybody who I feel is right for the job and wants to work and just wants to go out there and do what they do. And that's why, I don't know, I have a mixed bag of people that I put on my sets. I don't have that kind of anger and hatred, but they do, and people lose their jobs. I get conservative actors come to me all the time that they're working with me very quietly say, man, thank you for being a voice for us. They don't want to talk. They're afraid, but me, I love the business. I love being on the set. I love the creative process. I'm going to keep doing it. And I just put my head to the grindstone. I said, here we go. I'm just going to pound the pavement again and make these little movies that I do work. And I've had pretty good success with them. And, the heck with these people that are just so insecure about themselves and so immature about this whole, woke and cancel thing. But the tide's starting to turn. People are sick of it. I mean, people are just tired of this ridiculous crap that's going on. So I hope more people fight back in a common sense way and not the angry way that the left does all the time. Because all they have is their anger and hate. And they want to drag anybody down with them, which is just really sad to me.
Well, my husband told me that my husband Albert told me that Ben Shapiro and Tim Pool and a couple others are starting their own film production company. So,
yeah, the Daily Wire. They're making movies. They've been doing quite well.
Yeah. So if anybody's out there and you're a conservative and you can't get any work, maybe check out Ben Shapiro and Tim Pool, and there's lots of independent film production companies popping up. So there you go. There's a venue, and hopefully because I've actually had to stop watching a lot of my favorite television shows because it's too hardcore. I'm not a very, very political person. My husband is, but I don't believe you should constantly bash one political persuasion over another one. But I've had it seems like all the top network shows of the last couple years, it's just been against conservatives, against
over and over and over again. There really is. People just go to PragerU, and I did a thing called Stories of Us, called How Hollywood Ostracizes Conservatives. So if they go to PragerU and look for my story on there, they're going to see about a 10, 12-minute sort of monologue on there where I'm talking about what Hollywood does and what they do. And it's just weird to me. It's like a weird little. They're a bunch of 7th and 8th grade junior high kids with their little cliques, and it doesn't make any sense to me that I know there's other actors, big time actors out there that I'll never work with a conservative, and I'm going, really? It's just why?
Yeah.
And I think a lot, Hollywood can push the socialism all they want. They can push Marxism all they want. Hollywood is still a conservative business. They still believe in capitalism. They still want to make money. So I think a lot of these A-list actors that come out, I always joke that they can afford to live like a socialist because they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So it's the hypocrisy is so laughable that it's so ridiculous. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's like we're back in the days of McCarthy. Oh Lord, get him blacklisted. It's crazy.
Exactly what it is.
It's crazy. Like they got leprosy to poor conservatives. Well, my God, I want to thank you so much. I would love to bring you back on the show to talk about that vampire and zombie movie next year. What do you think? Can we do it?
We'll do that. We'll do that for sure.
All right, everyone, please go to Kevin's site. I didn't get a chance to talk about. He leads a World Fit for Kids. He's the chair and spokesperson. He devotes much of his time to a World Fit for Kids, which is a successful mentoring model that trains inner city teens to use.
I got to brag about that.
Yeah, fitness, sports, and positive role models for themselves. And
we're the number one after school program in the state of California for 25 straight years now. We work with over 12,000 inner city kids, and LA Unified is horrible. They're the second worst school system in the country behind Baltimore. And LA Unified over the last 25 years has averaged over 50% dropout rate, 54% dropout rate. We average, the 12,000 kids we work with each year, we average a 98% graduation rate and a 67% higher GPA than what they're doing in schools. We have a 3-hour program after school that lets these kids and tell these kids that we care about them, that we, that we do care about their self-esteem, their growth, their positive influence on the community. So we do good things with kids that are otherwise would have been in trouble in the roads they live in, because most of them are being raised by a mother or a grandmother. They don't have a father in their lives, and they got gangs everywhere. And we got a good program, worldfitforkids.org, and also go to sorbostudios.com, sorbostudios.com for more information.
There you go. Well, thank you, Mr. Hottie, for coming on the show today. Our Viking King, we bow down to you. And thank you again, people, for listening to Kevin. We're going to beg him to come back on the show next year to find out how that vampire and zombie movie went. Say goodbye to your fans, Kevin Sorbo.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. I hope I helped you out in any kind of way. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
You're listening to Question Reality with Priscilla Leona, right here on LA Talk Radio.